as you guys can probably tell by those starting introduction clips right there, the quad feed, then the 7 on screen, I'm having a ton of fun and a ton of success in this game, Infinite Warfare, whether that be the beta you're watching this in or the actual full release version of the game. I'm going to be showing you guys 5 ways that you can improve drastically and easily, and things you need to take note of the mechanics of the game that help improve your senses of these mechanics and apply them quicker than the enemy that you get into a gunfight with, or generally who you need to outsmart by throwing a grenade or killing them with a score streak. Before we hop into the video, if you guys could leave an early like on the video for that intro clip alone, or intro clips, because I mean, I think that's the first 7 on screen. I uploaded that raw gameplay to my channel, and I'm not a gameplay guy as of anymore anyways, so if you could leave a like on the video, whatever channel you're on, and if you're watching on any other channel besides one called The Friendly Machine, make sure to check the video description down below. At the very top, my link will be down there for the latest and greatest Call of Duty Infinite Warfare gameplay tips and anything to do with the game, because I'll be pumping out a ton of content, and if you want to see it earlier than on Carnage Clan, that's my link in the video description down below. But with that being said, let's get straight into the video tips. So the very first thing I want to discuss with you guys, tip wise, couldn't be more relevant than right now, because we're approaching in the actual full gameplay in the background of this match, the 7 on screen with the claw. So we're going to be talking about combat rigs. This doesn't demonstrate it, or couldn't demonstrate it any better, of how to use a combat rig or what combat rig to use. If you guys are using Combat Focus and think this game's similar to Black Ops 3 because of that, and that's the reason for you using Combat Focus, I definitely don't recommend doing so, because the starting score streaks in this game aren't too good. I mean, like the thing that flies around in the sky in the airstrike kind of score streak, I don't even know its name to be honest, isn't too good. It doesn't get you too many kills, but the claw, it's more viable to use to get kills than these. So what I recommend using is not Combat Focus for your combat rig. Use the claw and equip it at times by using the perk ping as well, and also UAV on, so you know when you're near enemies and it's a relevant time to activate it and get tons of kills like I did in the gameplay in the background. Tip number 2 for you guys, a generic tip a lot of you may think, but sensitivity is very important in Infinite Warfare, and I'm going to be showing you guys and demonstrating in the gameplay in the background as well. The fact of the futuristic movement not creating a lot of sway when you're aiming down your sights or just generally moving at all makes it very strange for a lot of players. A lot of players are saying to me, or my friends personally, saying it's strange and stuff like that to play this game, because it doesn't feel like Black Ops 3 when you're thrusting around, because it's so kind of pinpoint where your gun is actually going to end up after you've done these maneuvers, movements, or whatever you want to call them. So what I recommend is definitely as high as possible, because the higher the better if you need to turn on anyone, but at the same time you need to be able to feel like you're turning the right amount in the right amount of time. I don't know if you guys understand what exactly I mean there, but if you get a good feel for the game, you'll understand perfectly what I mean, and then you'll be able to obviously be comfortable with shooting your gun, being accurate, keeping on the enemy, as well as going through all these futuristic movements at the same time, and I play on a 13 sensitivity. Speaking of the pinpoint feel as well, before we get onto the third tip, I want to mention that in the third perk tier slot, this could not be more useful for new players or people trying to learn the game with this futuristic kind of setting with the not very diverse amount of colours like in the gameplay in the background map. It shows a red kind of outline around the enemy when you're shooting them, and that's very helpful for when you're actually in a gunfight or an enemy's jumping out of the way, or just generally seeing an enemy that you might have accidentally shot in a situation where there's 2 people shooting you, so you know how to get out of the way, or if you want to get out of the way, challenge or not challenge. The third tip I want to give you guys is about the movement. Now, the chain-based movement in Black Ops 3, it kind of makes sense to the name that it has, chain-based, because it's always constant. You can always slide, you can always jump and slide and everything like that, and it's just a chain of events through the movement, so that would make sense, right? But in this game, I feel like you don't get as far, or your thrusting is slower, or your thrust bar charges slower and goes down quicker. So what you need to know is the sliding distances, just like in the kill cam here, for where you will actually end up after you slide, and the amount you will travel after the slide, so you can actually get your sight up quickly. And that's something that you guys really want to take note of, because if you develop that sense quicker, like I said at the start of the video, you will be able to outgun people easier and obviously be more prepared for gunfights that you need to use something like this, a developed sense in. The fourth tip I want to give you guys is for mainly if you're starting out in the game and you're not doing very good, stick to the lower base score streaks. I know you only have the set 3 until you get to a certain rank and unlock the Scarab, which is like a HCXD from Black Ops 3, but I definitely recommend the lower end score streaks, because you don't want to feel disheartened when you're just starting the game, like you're not doing very well, and you can also get them kills in something like a Scarab and learn the maps better, as despite searching out enemies, you will not be dying driving around a little explosive car or vehicle, and you will be getting kills at the same time of going around the map, so you're learning the map, getting kills, and to be honest, it will be a good learning curve for all them people who don't know the maps or can't really come to grips or terms with the movement system and how it affects these maps, because I know I certainly can. So I don't use the Scarab personally, and you can ask any good COD player, how do you get consistent high KDs in any lobby regardless of skill level? Lower end score streaks are the way to go. UAV and all them ones besides that get kills easily and they're not hard to obtain are the ways to go to get consistent high KD ratios. Now swiftly moving on to the fifth and final tip, it wouldn't be right for me to make this video without showing you guys my successful class setup in the background. So what I'm running is the Karma 45, bearing in mind I'm not too much past level 10 at this moment on in the gameplay in the background, which literally takes around 3 games or something like that. So I'm using the Karma 45 submachine gun, which has a dual mag built into it, so that's good for a start off anyway. It holds a lot of ammo in the magazine. I'm using red dot foregrip, quick draw. I'm using the EMC pistol as a secondary, which doesn't really matter, but the perks, here's why you need to pay attention. So ping, that's very good for radar purposes and knowing where enemies are and awareness on the map. Hardline, it's obviously good because, I mean, if you know what hardline does in any other Call of Duty, it applies, but in the score streak kind of system of obviously getting things quicker towards kill streaks, score streaks, whatever you want to call them. And pinpoint, like I said before, is a very important perk, because if you guys are having trouble learning the maps with the colour scheme and how futuristic some of the factory set maps are because they're so similar coloured to the actual outfits of the enemies, then you want to be running pinpoint, because when you shoot someone it outlines them red, and that's a very good class setup to use. So thank you all for watching. If you enjoyed this video in any way, shape or form on whatever channel you're watching it on, make sure to slap a like on the video down below to keep referring back to it, and also the gameplay is to take note of in the background, as well as the relevant tips that I've talked about within this video. And if you're watching on any channel besides The Friendly Machine, make sure to check the video description down below. The link at the very top is the link to my personal channel, where you guys can get many tips and tricks and videos earlier than on Carnage Clan about Infinite Warfare. So thank you all for watching. I love all your faces as usual. Peace out.